Hey everyone, Tin Man here with today's daily jail update for Dota Underlords. Now today's jail leaves a couple of compositions that I've been really enjoying very wide open, including scrappy mages, brutes, as well as hunters. So we do see that Sand King is banned, and he kind of hampers some insect builds that are like insect hunters or insect assassins, as he's one of the premier insects, a little bit better than Broodmother in a lot of cases because of his stun. But insect builds are definitely still viable. Although you probably prefer to go with hunters rather than assassins, because playing Nyx assassin in hunters is a little bit better than playing weaver into assassins. And you also are missing anti-mage from assassin builds, so those are that's a big hit, so you won't be able to get the elusive bonus quite so easily. So maybe avoid assassins, although you can still play it if they're very wide open, and if you're like the only one playing assassins, it can still be a pretty good strategy. Alchemist being out, though, kind of takes away a good frontliner for a lot of compositions. His big armor shred from his ability definitely hurts physical damage compositions like assassins. He would sometimes splash as a frontliner, or even sometimes in hunters, or just other like 3 hunters, 3 warrior kind of builds. So Alchemist is just a general purpose loss that is going to harm those physical damage compositions. On the bright side, though, mages are pretty much unaffected. Ogre Magi being out is probably one of the worst mages. I mean, he's good in the early game, but by the late game, you generally want to be replacing him with Lich anyway to get up to 6 mages. And Razor, after his buff recently, is a very, very powerful mage into 3 or 6 mage composition, so I'm definitely looking to play Razor over Ogre Magi in the early game anyway. So with Ogre Magi out, that does mean that every other mage is protected, and therefore, you know, you're going to have a lot of good mages, and there's also none of the scrappy inventors gone, such as Clockwork, Tinker, Timbersaw, or Techies. Only Alchemist is out from that alliance. So definitely look to be playing some scrappies and some mages. I've had a lot of success with that, and I think they're pretty good right now. Enigma being out basically means 6 Primordials is completely gone. Don't want to ever try 6 Primordials. You can play the other Primordials kind of as a splash. They're all pretty much good units on their own. So don't be afraid to just play Primordials, but getting up to 6 is not really a big payoff in any way. So just kind of stick to 2 and maybe 4 if something goes, you know, really right by you. Pudge being out is awesome. Everyone, you know, Pudge is just way too common, and everyone kind of hates him. I mean, everyone loves him because you want to play him, and he's great, but him being out is just good for the meta, I think. He's, you know, he does put a hamper on a lot of the warrior strategies, since you won't be able to get Heartless so easily, so you just don't want to like play Heartless at all if you're not going to have Pudge. And he really hurts Heartless in a lot of other builds too, who want to kind of splash, you know, Pudge with maybe Hunters, with Drow Ranger to give a frontliner, or even sometimes into Brute builds, which is a build that I'm still a pretty big fan of, even with Axe out. The other 4 Brutes are generally the better Brutes anyway, going into the mid and late game. So you get a little bit slower start on getting Brutes, but getting Treant, getting Magnus, getting Lifestealer are still great early game Brutes, and then getting up to 4 when you finally find Doom really is a big power spike. So I do like Brutes. You can still try to pair it with some Heartless. You know, you go Drow Ranger, Lifestealer, and then like Shadow Demon, and then pick either Necrophos or Abaddon in the early game, and then switch to Lich later if you get it. If you want to get up to 4 Heartless with your Brutes, I think that's a pretty good build. I do like Brutes quite a bit, even with Axe gone. And Omni Knight definitely puts a hamper on Knights and healer strats, but I think these are just really bad strats right now. They're just kind of undertuned and not very powerful. So I've been avoiding Knights and healers in general, even though they kind of look good on paper, they just don't really play out very well in practice. So Omni Knight doesn't really affect me in that kind of way. So good luck in your games today, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.